My name is Paul van den Ende and I'm Good morning everybody and welcome to this bonus episode of the Retail Summit. Today we'll be talking about driving business success with your app. My name is Paul van den Ende and I'm an app specialist here at Google in Northern Europe. Before we dive into the content, I would like to mention that I refer to research which will be released in July. This research has been done by our app team in collaboration with MTM and will be focusing on app usage within retail specifically. This will be released in a Think with Google article in July, so please keep an eye out for that one. Also, after the session, I will be able to answer questions live, so please stick around after the presentations if you want to ask any questions. And now let's dive into it. So first off, I wanted to talk to you about why apps are so important for retailers. So to do so, we start off obviously with some data coming from search. As Martijn mentioned in his presentation in the main event, we've seen a massive spike in different search behavior. Even though the pandemic hit us, it's not necessarily that we're seeing new habits, but we're seeing habits that will be lasting. So we're seeing an acceleration of what's already been happening before. As you can see here in the blue line, it's showing online shopping search, which has a massive spike after COVID outbreak. And in the red line, you can see the same search, but then for free delivery. As this graph shows, we have reached a new plateau, and that's showing us the lasting behaviors of your customers. And a large proportion of shopping moved to apps. As you can see here, our research shows that 49% of shopping actually have been using more apps than they did before. 27% have been using a greater variety of apps than they have been using before, and 22% actually have been using apps in many different ways than they actually did before. And there's even more great news for app customers, but also for you as retailers, as app customers are also your best customers. You might have seen this slide in Sarah Ward's presentation that apps are key in your mobile strategy. As research shows, 33% buy more frequently, 34% buy more items, and 37% spend more than non-app customers. I would like to talk to you about the value of your own app. So first off, the thing you need to do is to really ask yourself, what's the purpose of your app? It can be many different things, but I would highly recommend first picking one and then having an app marketing strategy to really excel in that single purpose before moving to a next one. As an example, you could focus on acquiring new customers, which are now around web, but you want to pull them to the app. So that's something you can do and focus on. Or you can focus on growing sales with your customer base, which are already in the app. Or you could focus on brand loyalty, to really deeply connect with all your customers and create loyal brand ambassadors that have a great lifetime value for your app. But after you determine the purpose of your own app, it's even more important to know why customers are actually using your app. And it's really important that you align those goals. As you can see here, we've done research, and this is the top 10 reasons why people are using an app. It saves me time, quick and easy transactions, easy to navigate, and simplifying my life. So as you determine the purpose of your app, you really need to make sure you fulfill all these needs in order to be successful. And why it's important to get app users also to app is shown in this slide. As our research shown that if we compare web plus app users versus web only users, we see a 31% increase in average spend. Now, after aligning the purpose of your app with your customer needs, it's time to talk about your marketing strategy. But before we do so, it's really important to understand that all of your customers around their customer journey are all in different phases. So it's really important that you are present in every single phase with your app marketing strategy. So we can distinguish different phases as the onboard phase, the engage phase, and the embed phase, specifically for app. As in discover phase, they're mainly around web. So for onboard, you could heavily focus, for instance, on having people install your app. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually using their app. So that's what you will be focusing on, the engage phase. So focus on your customer base and focus on driving in-app conversions. And then the holy grail here is the embed phase, as you really want loyal brand customers that use your app more often and always come back to it. We as Google offer you different solutions to be present and really drive success in all these different phases. As the onboard phase is where the app comes in, you really want to focus on driving app installs. You can do so by using our app campaigns for installs, which are fully automated. But as mentioned, having people install your app doesn't necessarily mean they're actually using your app. So it's also important to focus on that in the next phase, to engage with your customer and drive in-app actions, which you can also do with app campaigns for action. When you have done that and excelled in this stage of the funnel, you can move then to reactivating inactive users, which can be done with app campaigns for re-engagement. So you can drive re-engagement with your app to turn your inactive users into active users again and make sure they become brand loyal brand ambassadors. As you can see here in the gray, along the funnel, measurement is key, which brings me to 3 key pillars in order to be successful with your app. First of all, it's measurement. As app needs different measurement than your web environment, this is the absolute backbone in order to be successful with app. Our Firebase SDK gives you the opportunity to measure everything across your web and app environment. Next to that, deep linking is massively important. Deep linking basically means that if people have the app installed on their phone, they can be sent to the app directly from either organic search or from clicking on an ad. Which brings me to the next point, which is seamless user experience. This basically means that you really have to think about your user experience online and make it seamless as possible. You can think of simplifying navigation and also simplifying forms for a speedy checkout. Offer strong customer support offline and online is massively important as well. And to make it seamless and interesting, you might want to offer something to your app users that they're not be able to get on web. Now, last but not least, automation. Tap into Google's machine learning with our fully automated campaigns. As discussed before, you can use app campaigns for installs, focusing on people installing your app campaigns for re-engagement, to re-engage with your inactive users, but also use your smart shopping campaigns and have them optimized towards app conversions. And then again, deep linking is important to have. Now that you know what you need to have in place in order to be successful, it's also important to set the right KPIs to also measure your success. As we have talked about different phases and different stages, there are also different KPIs that you can set per phase. For instance, if you want to focus on driving sales and revenue, it can be heavily interesting to focus on conversions and installs. If you want to drive loyalty, the main thing you want to focus on is lifetime value. So that's mainly driving in-app actions and measuring what comes out of those actions. If you want to focus on profitability, it's absolutely possible. Our Firebase SDK offers a unique function to run T-ROAS bidding to do so. Lastly, if you want to focus on retention, this is also possible, but then you want to focus on reactivated users, conversions, and your net promoter score. Now, setting the right KPIs and measuring is obviously great, but there's much more to app marketing than just measuring your app KPIs. It also has a huge effect on different metrics for the overall of your business. Think of your bottom line impact, It can increase purchase rates and decrease cost of sales. It can also affect service costs. Think of maybe lowering ticketing costs by delivering customer service through your app. Your overall sales growth. We can help you with app marketing increase your overall average order value and also influence your customer sentiment. So you can really improve the in-location experience and motivate repeat visits to the app or to your store. As we're almost approaching the end of this presentation for today, I think it's important to tying it all together once more. So I want you to leave with 3 key takeaways. First off, align your app's purpose with your customer needs. Secondly, set up the right measurement and the right KPIs per phase in order to measure your success. Last but not least, deliver a seamless customer experience across your web and app environment. If you have any questions left regarding this presentation today, feel free to stick around and I'll be happy to answer them live. If you don't have any questions at the moment, but you still want to follow up, feel free to reach out to your Google account teams and they'll be happy to help you further. That only leaves me with thanking you for joining us today and learning on app marketing with Google. So thank you, and I wish you all a pleasant day. Hey everybody, welcome by the live Q&A. We currently don't have any questions in yet, but Aurélie, maybe you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, no problem. So my name is Aurélie. I'm an app technical specialist at Google, meaning that I usually help our partners with implementations to help run app campaigns. So things like app measurement, deep linking, and other technical implementations.
Thanks very much. We will keep the lines open for 2 minutes more in order to send your questions. But that also reminds me that I really want to ask you to fill in the feedback form, which will be posted in a link down below the video. I will check with the teams if any questions are coming in. Well, I think it's been pretty clear then about the app marketing strategy. So I really want to thank you for joining us today, and Aurélie as well. And thanks for joining us in case there weren't any technical questions. And that leaves me with just thanking you and saying goodbye. And until the next time.